Hey everyone, can you hear me? How are you doing? As always, just checking if everyone can hear me well, and if so, I will basically take the time to welcome every single one of you to this stream for Battle Legion, the community stream number 132. Can you believe it? On my side, I don't really believe it because I wasn't there, obviously, for most of those streams, but I'm super glad to be taking care of them now. So, yeah, welcome everyone. I see from the chat that no one's mentioning that you cannot hear me, so I take for granted that you can. Otherwise, please let me know because that would be 3 very long hours for me if, or well, maybe 2, we'll see, if I'm speaking but no one can hear me. Yes, okay, you can hear me, great. I see a lot of people in the chat already today. That's good. Thank you for joining. The comment table, Muchacho420, Simo GG. I see sephTheConjurer, Usars, which I'm not surprised to see today. As you know, if you looked at the Discord server earlier today, Usars has been one of the players that helped us shaping some of the armies for the day. Yeah, it's size here as well. Yeah, I still see my lovely deck guy in here, PyroBebop. We have a lot of people. So, okay, the mic volume can go up a little. Let me first see if it gets better by just moving in. Is it better? Because if I can avoid making it too loud overall, that would be great. But yeah, let me know how it is now. On my end, when I look at my indicators, it should be good. But yeah, you guys are the judge. Okay, so anyway, as most of the people have started to join, we will be able to start the fight night. Today, as you know, we will start right with the hardcore mode. And it's the first time that we had to use the priority list. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, it's fairly simple. We have so many registration. Today we had around 250 when I closed the forms. So we basically had to use the priority list so that people that could not participate in the last stream would have the priority. That made up for about half of the people that will play today. And then we looked at populating the fight night with people that obviously registered for this week. In case you are not in the list for today, worry not, that means you will have the priority for the next stream. I would also like to point out that the list that you can see on YouTube for now is only for the hardcore mode. The list for the regular and easy mode will follow. And last, before I get things going, I would like to mention as well that I'm sorry if some of you don't show up in the good category. I do not know if something happened in there, but there's been a few players already contacting me, telling me they were not in the good category. I am willing to assume there might have been some mistakes when people register. That can happen. But since there's been a few, there might be something a bit fishy in there. I will have to spend some more time finding out what could have caused that. But yeah, if that's the case for you, you shouldn't really be losing much in terms of the rewards you could get. But yeah, if that's the case, come and let me know on Discord so that at least I know I need to check on this and find what might have caused this. Okay, so now that everything is ready, I will just recheck that the fight night is live, and it is, so we'll be able to start, and we should be starting with ddiis or this, depending on how we want to spell it. And that's not, oh, sorry, that's not the good player. Yeah, I was looking at the old list that I had to cancel. So Melocotton is first. We are there with Metal Cotton, all goods. Okay, so yeah, let's see how things are going with this army. So far, so good. And so far, it's fast, which is kind of a news for me. Okay. So for today, as you've seen probably on the loading screen or waiting screen for the stream, we will also share some news with you. It's not going to be the format that you were used to with the full-on PowerPoint presentation, because that makes more sense when we actually have graphical elements to share and something like this. But in this case, that's not really what we can share with you. What we will be sharing with you is more news of what's coming next into the game in general. First and foremost, I can give you some news regarding the journey levels. As you know, we wanted to have these journey levels coming in very soon, and we are still pretty much on schedule with this. We should be getting those journey levels this month. I cannot guarantee it. There's still some testing to be done, but we should still be looking at a release this month for the journey levels. If not this month, that would definitely be delayed just by some weeks or whatever would be needed for the testing, but it's still pretty much the really next big thing you guys should see. And I can tell you that we are looking first at a release of a new zone, a new region, sorry, with one zone, so 10 levels of that new region. And then we will be adding up on that, ideally with every era. It's not set in stone yet. Again, that's something we need to look at. But ideally, we would have every new era, a new zone opening for the journey levels within the new region. And once this region is done, another one coming in, etc. You're asking if that would still be in this era, and so basically for season 4. I cannot say yes yet, but since we just started season 3, that should be the case. If we're looking at a release in August, we should be realistically looking at a release before the end of season 4. It's just a bit it's basically just an estimation on my end. I cannot really say because I'm not the one doing the tests on those levels and checking that everything on the technical level is working as it should. But if it does, then yes, we would be looking at this. So yeah, I hope that you guys will be enjoying these new journey levels. And since we're on the topic of journey levels, I would like to remind everyone that we also plan on the longer run at one point to work on the journey levels as a mechanic themselves, because we would like for them to be something that is better fitting with the entire rest of the game. Right now, especially when you're a new player, it's not necessarily fitting so well with everything else in the game. And so that's one of the things we're going to look at, looking at the rewards, looking at the progression so that it's potentially a bit more linear as well. But yeah, those are things we're looking at. It's going to be for the long run, but since we're on the topic of journey levels, just wanted to mention that in case you guys would be interested. So yeah, I know as well that some of you, as soon as we will release those journey levels, you will be done in no time because you have beasts of accounts by now. But yeah, obviously the point is mostly to get more going on a regular basis. That's really what we want to focus on, making sure that we do not run into situations where you have 6 months or a year without new journey levels. At least for the near future, we want to be able to release new levels more steadily. Okay, so yeah, that's one big news I wanted to share with you. I also wanted to get some feedback from your end as well on the wardrobe we released last week. As you know, we had this cosmetics that you could get, those skins, etc., spending gems instead of spending Eternite. I've read the feedback. I know that there's some tweaking to do still. Some people not necessarily happy with the cost. Some people not necessarily happy with the probabilities of getting X or Y, etc. So there are obviously things to still tweak. But yeah, mostly on our hand, we were quite happy with the outcome that we've seen there. And the overall feedback I read was mostly that players would be potentially interested in this. So yeah, we'll probably further look into that. Yeah, you don't know what to say about it since you couldn't afford it. But that's okay. But you know, after a stream like this, potentially you could, you know. I mean, of course, it's always going to be the same with gems, right? Everyone is going to be spending on what they believe is the most important for them. And obviously, we know that for a lot of players, you guys want to keep your gems really for the direct in-game progression, which makes it, which makes a lot of sense. Or as Greenfoot is saying, to buy gold. Obviously, that's one of the big thing. But yeah, there are also players that are super happy about having this opportunity with skins. So yeah, that was a small little thing we wanted to test out, and I can say that by the look of it, we will probably keep having that. We also intend to be rotating the offers for the wardrobes a bit more often if we can, to some extent, or at least make it so that there's always something exciting coming in on that side of the game. So we'll see how it turns out. Yeah, I also can share some news regarding ads placements, because that's something I mentioned a few times already. At the moment, we're still hoping to get that released again, either this month or early next month, but that's the plan. And that will offer you a few more opportunities to watch ads. So yeah, that's also something coming in very soon. And once those two elements are done, we will be looking at some bigger game features that we've been discussing for a while, but I cannot say yet. Can you hear me now? It should be back, right? Is it back for everyone? Because I can now see my microphone working. Okay, thank you. The only weird thing is that for now I lost the sound of the game. I don't know if you guys were hearing the sound of the game or just my voice. Can you let me know if you were hearing the sound from the game or just my voice? Because depending on that, I try to see what I can do there, and if there's anything that I can do to help on that. Just voice. Okay. So then let's keep going. It's just a bit weird for me because usually I have the sound of the game. Sometimes it goes through on your way, sometimes not. But that's a a feature that is still in beta in the tool that I'm using, so I'm not surprised that it's not working 100% of the time. Okay, so let me catch up with some of the questions that popped in the meantime. Tsai, you were asking if we could have the Power Stones packs available all the time. So basically to be able to get basically what you want. The problem that I could see here is a balancing issue, to be honest. Let me try to formulate it this way. With the gems, there's two ways to look at it. We could go in a system like this where you have pretty much what you'd like to get more often or even available at all time. But then that would mean we would probably be in the need of either increasing the gem costs a little or decreasing the amount of gems we're giving out. That's the situation, that we need to keep this balance where there's always a bit of tension between getting the gems, spending the gems, and waiting to be able to spend them where we want. Of course, we need to be cautious to never fall too much into one direction. So maybe what you're saying makes sense, and we should be looking at that and see if there might be something to do there. But we really have to be cautious and making sure we are not putting ourselves into trouble, because, as you said, if you have the Power Stone packs available at all time, you will have basically to spend less or potentially less gems to get what you want, or to get it in a different way, and that could end up being potentially a problem for the balancing of the game. So that's something we always have to be cautious about. Okay. You're talking about the packs where you get 100 for 300 instead of 350, etc. So that's also the same concept, right? See it as a sale in a shop. If a shop has to be on sale all year long, then basically their business collapses. Except if their business is initially to sell stuff on sale because they initially got it for a lot less money. But if we translate that to our system, that would mean keeping all the prices and all of that the same in game, but that would mean we are downscaling on the costs for the game. So maybe the performance is not as good. Maybe we have less people working on the game, but we are asking you the same amount of money or slightly less. And since that's not the direction we want to take with the game, that doesn't necessarily work in that way for us. Yosef, you were asking if the Eternite leaves the equation. No, Eternite will remain there. The idea is more of offering a diversity of options for players that want to get new skins and such. So there will still be Eternite options, but there will be as well some other ones from time to time. Is there an update on collecting art assets? Yes, I actually rechecked the form today. One of the problem is that one of the requests, I don't know if it's yours or not, so I'm not gonna say that, but one of the requests is actually a hell of a big request. It's like one request, but containing like 60, 70 assets in total. And so the art team just did not yet at the time to do it, because they are, as you've seen with the new units, with the videos that we've put out, with some of the art assets we work on, they're still a bit in the crunch time. It's gonna get better because we're getting more and more into the rhythm of the game, but that's why it didn't come out yet. So yeah, that should come quite soon. So, King Bibik, you're saying that we are getting more journey levels and it's cool, but we are losing end game players because they get bored. That's true, and that's something we want to address with a few different features that will come rather soon. I cannot necessarily say which one will come first. As you know, the big one would be the clan wars, but that's still a bit far ahead. But there are other things we're looking at. And one of them is going to be related to red bosses. It's in one way or another. Some of the ideas we are toying around, and that could come actually quite quickly if we go in that direction, would be to have full server-wide red bosses. So that would mean basically the entire server would be trying to defeat one insanely strong boss, and everyone would get rewards, but you would also have a ranking system where the ones that have been dealing the most damages over the entire community would get better rewards or something like this. So we're looking at ways to already add some more stuffs for people to do, for people that are really at the end game before something like the clan wars would come, which is definitely what would be the best solution for that. What does it cost to generate power stones? So that's a bit of a tricky question, because one misconception that we hear a lot is that pretty much all of the gems and all of the in-game resources are made up, right? They're not representing direct money that the company had to put in to get the gems in, right? So you have to see it more as the costs that go into having the game run in general, and power stones being one of the elements that is generating the revenues that allow us to put with all the costs that go into running the game. That's why we can associate a price to the power stones or to anything else. Now, what does it cost for us to generate, for example, a new power stone? Well, a new power stone like the one we released earlier this week, it's a bit of UI and art, a lot of balancing, and a bit of development. And when you put all of that together, that gives you a cost. But the cost is just for that power stone. The problem is we don't need to only pay for the cost of whatever we bring that is new. We also need to pay for all the costs that are there all year long, no matter what. Like, for example, the company needs to pay me. The company needs to pay all the people that are working on customer support, all the people that are working on tests, etc., regardless of what we bring into the game. So those are the costs, and you also have, all the structural costs like the servers, the fees that you get with the stores, etc. So there's a lot of things going on that pile up and explain why it actually costs a fair amount of money to run a game, pretty much. Okay, so now let's look at the next questions we had. What about a new section like Crucible done before? As I was saying at the beginning of the stream, the main problem at the moment with this is that to get such a new section going on, first of all, we need to get all the balancing changes confirmed, or at least close enough to be final so that we can run it. And that's not necessarily been the case lately. As I said, it will get better on that end, but obviously since we took over the game only some month ago, we are still in a situation where we do not have yet the same expertise in planning ahead the balancing changes, etc., which leads to the fact that really often we would not be able to share anything that is really reliable the 5 or 6 days before that it would be. Because think about it as well, I would need to get that a bit before the stream. So that would be like 5 days before release. And I can tell you that, for example, for this season, it would have not been just far from what you got, but it would be quite different. You would be expecting stuff that would not come. You would be getting stuff that did not. So that wouldn't really make sense. And on top of that, it would also make it rather complicated for us, because we would be in a situation where, sorry, I'm just checking where we are. Yeah, okay. So it would be also complicated because we would be in a situation where we would be spending also time during the stream to discuss this right before we can even start the fight night. So what I'm looking at right now is, first of all, try to wait until the team is back into a mode where they can share enough information so that I can get this going. And as I was saying earlier, I think it was in the last stream, once we have that rhythm back, which hopefully will come very soon, then what I would probably prefer is to share that with the community. So share this presentation on Discord or elsewhere. And then during the stream, as we're doing right now, we can discuss, you can ask questions because we've already seen what's coming. And that allows us to do this while the fight night is also running, rather than having to do it in parallel, rather than to have to do it one after the other and end up with the stream being even longer. So that's roughly where we're at with this. So yeah. Joseph, so you wanted to know, yeah, Eternite will give you access to wardrops that exist and gems to some of the new one. No, that's not exactly what is going to happen. There will be new wardrops with Eternite, and there will be new wardrops with gems, as you were mentioning below. To gems versus Eternite wardrop debate, you don't like sacrificing progressions for skin. I get that, Greenfoot, but the point is precisely that people that go for skins are usually doing it because their progression is already at the level that they consider to be fine, or because they spent some money specifically because they wanted some skins, or because they value skins over progression. Any player that is valuing progression over skins will obviously keep their gems, but then they have all the Eternite offers for them. So the idea is pretty much to have something going on for everyone. Tsar, thank you for your answer. It's very frustrating to open 3,000 gems and sometimes not even get what we want. I fully understand that. One thing that might happen in that regard, I was mentioning that one of the ideas that we're working with, I mentioned that in some of the other streams, is to have kind of an exchange system, not an exchange system with other players, but an exchange system where you can get rid of some of the resources you don't want and get something else instead. I can imagine that that could be something as well, that from time to time, a power stone that you really want because we can see that you are using it in your army and you still have one of your units where you don't have it or anything like this, might be popping up against a resource that you have too much of or something like this. So that would be something I can imagine going in. The reason why I can imagine something like this going on is because technically you would not necessarily have a guaranteed result. Because the last thing we want is for people to be able to say, oh, I want that power stone and here's a system where I can just give whatever it needs and I get exactly that one. Because if we do that, then obviously no one is going to buy the packs anymore, or at least a lot less, and that's not going to be a very good system for the game. Or if we were to do that, and it's the balance I was mentioning earlier, we would need this forging system to get one specific power stone to be a lot more expensive in resources than what you get. So imagine you need to put other power stones that you don't want to get the one you want. For example, you would probably have a ratio of, I don't know, 50 to 1 or something like this, so that it gets on par with the other system. Because otherwise, it's what we would call cannibalization, right? We would be taking people out of one element of the game that is working quite fine for us to bring them to another one, and we need to make sure that this other element is just as beneficial for us. But if we were to do that, if you need to spend 50 power stone to get the one you want, most players won't really feel that it's beneficial for them. So that's kind of the kind of things that I was mentioning when I'm saying that the game economy aspect is super tricky. I cannot go a lot further into explanations into that because I'm not a game economist expert, but also because that gets too complicated, and I cannot give you any number to illustrate all of that. But it's one of the things I try to do with you guys, that I want to give you some understanding of how those things are usually thought of, just so that you understand the train of thought that goes behind these kind of things. Okay, Greenfoot, if you do global boss, please have global health rather than art system. I can't really say how it would work. I can expect that it would not be an art system, because if you have the entire community fighting against a boss, imagine how unfair it would be for the very vast majority of players that would never get them one art out, So I would expect that it would work differently. PyroBebop, you understand what I mean? That's perfect. If someone is understanding what I mean, then my job is done. Okay, King Bibik, yeah, you don't like the art system. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I don't think we have any plans to change that for the existing red bosses, but we can look at this for future bosses potentially. Greenfoot, yes, it would help if the streams were in the second week. We will try to make this switch most likely with the beginning of the next era. But as said, for now, I did not focus too much on that pattern because I know that we are not quite in the situation where we would get the info on time to have it discussed, etc. But as soon as we have that, then we can make this change. So maybe it's with the next era. It might be that it comes a bit later on. Okay, so sephTheConjurer, you're saying if you really want a skin to make my army look more cohesive, I'm not spending gems on it. I'll spend the money I need to buy the gems I need and keeping the gems I earned. I fully understand. That's not necessarily what we mean. We're not forcing anyone pretty much to go the gems mod. What might happen is that you might have an exclusive skin that shows up in the gem wardrobe, and it will only come to the Eternite ones way later on. That might be the trade-off is, hey, you want to spend pretty much a more valuable resource, because we know that gems are more valuable than Eternite. You have this priority, you are able to get it earlier. But that would be it, right? You would not be blocked from getting a skin forever because you wanted to use Eternite. Germanistica, you say that you signed up for the hardcore mode and you're not present in the list. There can be a few reasons for that. The first possibility is that you already were in the stream the last time and you didn't make it to this time because we first prioritized the people that were not in the last stream. The second option is that you are actually not in the hardcore mode, but in the normal or easy one. I don't think that it's the case, but I've seen a few people today reporting this to me, so it might be the case. If you see later on during the stream that you're in the medium or easy mode when you should have been on the hardcore one, please let me know on Discord and we'll see what we can do about that. And mostly I will make sure to find what caused potentially this issue. So the main issue with the gem wardrobe was duplicates. Just get them rid of them for the wardrobe. Yeah, the thing is, from the technical standpoint, it's not as simple. So that's also why the gem wardrobe is giving you gold and not eternite back. But yeah, that's something we need to look into for sure. PyroBebop, you're saying that eternite feels worthless to you. When there was a tiny bit in chest, it was fine, but it's basically non-existent, and I'll never spend gems on skin. Again, that's perfectly fine. You know, we're not asking anyone to spend gems on skin. Our policy with that is to make sure that there's something for everyone. If someone wants to spend gems on skins, and believe me, a lot of players want, they have the option to. Someone that doesn't want to, they have the option to as well. Technically, in an ideal world, in an ideal game, that's what you would get. Options for everyone to decide how they want to go. Obviously, a little advantage for those that are spending the most valuable resource, but that's about it. Why am I present in the hardcore mode? I thought I signed up for the easy mode. Are you sure that this is the case? If that's the case, then we're really having a problem there. Again, if you are in the hardcore mode and should have been in another mode or anything like this, please reach out to me on Discord. We'll look at what might have caused this, and potentially we'll look as well if it would make sense to help out. So yeah, we'll see if it makes sense to grant you some additional gems because you ended up being crushed by the hardcore level when you were an easy player, for example, or something like this. But yeah, we'll look into that. Yeah, no, PyroBebop. I don't take it as a complaining. I'm fully understanding. I fully understand your point. I mostly just try to explain that, you know, we're not doing this to force anyone to go in the gems direction. That's pretty much what the message that I want to come across. We want people that are willing to spend their gems to have as many ways as possible to do so. But that's pretty much how we see it. Maybe the swap Randu was earlier, pretty sure he always wins out and goes easy. Gotta go easy on him because it's a squishy frog. Oh, the burn. Yeah, as I said, there seems to be something weird happening there. I'm sure it's again one of the Google spreadsheet magic that I had no idea about. But yeah, definitely I will be investigating what might have caused that. By the look of it, it seems like a lot of players are still able to make the best out of this hardcore fight, so that should be good. I know that today's medium fight should be rather, I wouldn't say easy, but it's not hard. Definitely not. It should fit a very, 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 very vast majority of the players. So, yeah. Ideally, we'll be doing good there. So, oh, actually, there you go, Greenfoot. It's your time to shine. That means we have about 30 people to go in the hardcore mode before we can move to the next ones. Don't make fun of Randu. That's not nice. By the way, I have to say as well that I just discovered this battlefield. I'd never seen that one before. And yeah, it really made me, it reminded me of Mustafar from Star Wars. So I was like, yeah, let's go with that. Okay, Boki. So yeah, so regarding the main news I could share with you, that was the main elements that I wanted to bring up and mention. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to bring up. Outside of that, there's a topic that is not directly in-game related, but I wanted to get your opinion on that. Well, first of all, let's take the question from those kind, because I got that question a lot today. So why are we not getting the entire list? Simple, since we have 3 levels of difficulty, it means that in between the different difficulty level, I need to set up the next fight night, right? And so that means right now I have a list of players, but I did not yet extract the names of the players, and I don't yet have the definitive order in which they will be for the medium and the easy mode. So that's why I can do it for the first one, because I set up the army. I try to do it, at least as I did today, an hour before the fight night starts. I try to have the first fight night set up. But for the other ones, you can only get them once we go live, pretty much, with those other mods, and that's why you didn't get it earlier. I don't think it's possible for me to have multiple setups saved for different fight nights if they're using the same account, and one of the fight nights is on this account, the 2 other ones are on another account, so I couldn't do it this way. But I will try to see if I can toy around a bit with this, and maybe there's an option I'm not aware of that would allow me to post the entire list at the beginning. But for now, it will always be the first fight night that we have. So today was hardcore, the next time should be the medium one, then the easy one, etc., etc. The first one will always be visible before the stream, at least I try to. For the other ones, it's not as simple. Any news on when artifacts are getting the major look? I cannot say yet the time frame, because there again it's a bigger change altogether. Probably I would say it's gonna be at least 1 or 2 eras before you see that coming in. So I would say like end of the year or something like this. It might be before, but it's just so that I don't give you any wrong expectations. And that's also why we started to do some of the requested balancing changes with artifacts, as you've seen this week, to make sure that we kind of accommodate for the time being as well. Can we discuss the play condition? Almost 100 messages and other suggestions appeared on Discord. Yeah, I've seen that. I tried to go through it, but then, as you said, more and more messages came in. It's something I need to look a lot further with the team. It's way above my knowledge and expertise at the moment for the game. So yeah. The battlefield is the Fury of the Element battlefield. Then I chose correctly, even if that was not what I wanted. What is the wrong army? Which army is the wrong one? Was it your wrong army, Doskan? Trying to understand what you meant, but... Okay, so you registered for the wrong army. Okay, you had the wrong army on. That's okay. That happens to everyone. Okay. I'm sorry for your instant loss then. Yeah, I mean, at least if I'm correct, let me check. But if I remember correctly, you shouldn't be losing. Yeah, you're not losing anything here because since it's a loss in the hardcore mode, you're actually getting more rewards than you would have with an instant loss in the easy level. Hey, Aniviper, welcome to the stream. Okay, so yeah, the other point I wanted to bring up and mention and get your opinion on is regarding the streams, because today we had around 250 players registering, and is, as you know, it is quite complicated to get everyone in the stream. I need to do the priority list, and it's not necessarily the best experience, neither for you or for me. So I'm just toying with ideas on how we could get things going. And one thing that I realized is that if we wanted to get more players going into each of the streams, and potentially all of you, one way to do it would be to have the fight night run, but not as a stream, but as actual videos. What I mean by this is that instead of having me talking for 2.5 hours, it would be a video with the game sound, and that would be recorded when the fight night is taking place and uploaded on YouTube, which would allow us to speed up and divide it as well, the different categories. So you would have one video for the easy mode. Probably this one would not speed up because there's not that many players and it's important that they really see what's going on to learn. Then for the medium and hardcore one, we could speed it up a tiny bit, like 1.5 or 2, depending on the duration of the video, and that would allow us to have way more players taking part. But also the performance itself would be a lot better, because what it means technically is that it would run on a developer device. So that means pretty much on a crazy gaming computer that would be able to handle all of that a lot faster than the devices that I have. Of course, the trade-off is that there would not be the direct interactions and the discussion that we have right now. We would have them in a different system. Potentially, if we were to think about something like this, we would probably say on the side, hey, okay, let's have, I don't know how we call this, but maybe we would have a news direct where we would just talk about what's going on in the game, etc. And we would have those whenever we have something interesting to bring up, but those would be like an half an hour discussion or something like this. That could be a system that could work, but of course there's pros and cons. The pros are that more players would be there in each of the stream, and we would be able to have slightly faster videos, etc. The cons are obviously that we would lose a bit of the interactions that we have there, and we would have those in a different format. So that's pretty much where I am with this reflection, with this thought process. I'm not saying that we're gonna do this. I'm just trying to see if that's something you guys could be interested in. The main reason why I'm saying this as well is that I see really, every other week when we do the stream, there's so many people contacting me to say, hey, no, we don't have we don't have you on the list today because we could not put everyone in, etc. It's not necessarily the most pleasant situation, I know. So I'm just trying to see what could work. So Yosef, you're saying you prefer a live stream where I speak and fights are 5 times or 3 times faster. But that's the problem, is that in order to do this, we would need the fights to happen on a different machine that can actually run in live with a multiplied by 3 or multiplied by 5 session, which I don't think I can do. What we could do, if I understand what you mean correctly, is say we do the stream, we do the fight night, we record it, then we run a stream when we are showing you the recording that has been sped up 3 to 5 times, and we discuss it. That could be an option. The only problem I foresee with this is if we do that, there will necessarily be a delay between the moment the fight night happens and the moment you get the video. And the problem is potentially there would be even less people joining the stream because they already know either they won or they lost because they already saw the number of gems they were getting. So maybe that's something we could test out. That would be for you guys to tell me if that's something you could be interested in. Doing something like this would indeed help because that means the streams would be a lot shorter, a lot faster, a lot more dynamic. But yeah, that's well, if we that's also a good point, Seth, that if we were to do that, either everyone knows the army in advance and everyone wins, or no one knows the army and can't respond in real time. Yes and no, because if you look at today I shared with you what the army was going to be for the fight night a few hours before. We could definitely say we are going to do whatever. We're going to have the fight night at 7 p.m. on that day, whenever that is. And an hour before or 2 hours before, you get the account that you will fight. So you have an option to try it and see and accommodate. And that's it, right? That would be pretty much what you're getting at the moment. So that could be still happening regardless of if it's a stream or not, as long as you know when the fight night is taking place and when and if you get the accounts earlier as we did today. Greenfoot, you're saying you prefer a live stream, but maybe the first 100 that sign up, then the rest do it off the video. That could be something we can do as well. Say, hey, we're looking at 100 accounts today, everything else is done off. We could do that. That's true, actually. The only thing is I would need to look at the amount of work that would correspond to, because the main thing I'm worried about is because of the duration of the video, it might be something very long to upload. And so if a part of the community gets the enjoyment of being broadcasted on Wednesday and then everyone else has to wait Friday to get the video on, it might not feel the same. But that's something we could try, indeed. Two, 3, 5 hours of stream is a bit hardcore for everyone, especially you. Yes, it is. And you know who it is hardcore for? It's hardcore for my dogs, because usually I have to postpone slightly their dinner for the stream. And that's, for anyone who has dogs, they know that it's not an easy thing to do. Okay, guys, we have about 8 accounts left for this category. Then we'll move to the medium and to the easy category. But yeah, so far what I'm taking from this discussion, guys, is that a mix could be something you would be interested in. That might be something we try on to see how it would look like. And it could be a win-win situation, especially like the the system that Greenfoot mentioned. If we were to say, hey, we do 100 people live, then the rest is in a video that will be uploaded, but the video is sped up 3 to 5 times so that it's not a 3 hours long video, but a way shorter one, etc. Yeah, that could be interesting. That could be something we could look at. I would have to look as well on the technical side, but I guess what we could just do there is run the live environment, the fight night for one category as a live event, and then the 2 other ones would be in video, and so we would rotate. And obviously whenever we would do the easy one where there's really not that many players, what we would do is say, oh, we do the easy one and the first whatever players from another category or something like this. So yeah, there might be something interesting to dig into there. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that. Okay, so my desk is a wooden desk, and I'm touching it right now to keep some luck, because so far it's the first stream that we do where after 1 hour the game didn't freeze and the chat didn't freeze, and yes, my microphone went off for a few seconds, but I know why. It's basically the USB plug that was not perfectly still. So yeah, so far it's okay. And yes, the 60% is not so bad so far as well. I must say, so the account is called ZlorD's Anonymous Army. The reason for that is because it's been suggested by a player on this army, but it's something I worked with a little, but mostly it's a player that was like, hey, you know, I don't want to be put in the light for that. I just want to see a fun stream. I respect the players that ask me to do so. That's why it's called Anonymous, and I do enjoy this army a fair bit. I tried it a fair bit this morning, and I enjoyed it quite a lot, because I'm starting to see that I like armies with a few units a lot more. Maybe because the strategy is a bit clearer for me to understand in general, but I'm starting to see a pattern that this is the kind of gameplay I want to develop into. We'll see, but you know, if at least that can help me finally get into the leagues, that would be great already. Okay, so we have still 2 players after Tobaru, and we'll be done for the hardcore mod, so pretty much right on time, an hour for this mod, and it's the longest one, so we should be able to do it great today. What's my favorite unit? You mean in the until today in general? Okay, so I think it's still the beginner in me, but I've been enjoying a lot what I can do with the catapult at the moment. It's basic, but once you combine it the proper way, there's so much you can do if you place it properly as well. So yeah, so far I've been enjoying that a fair bit. Okay, I don't know if 2 fights went too fast for me, or if someone changed its name, but I didn't see the last player I was waiting for. Okay, now we passed the line, so we're gonna be stopping there. That means I didn't see What the Fox. I wanted to say that I absolutely love this nickname. I saw it today as it was the last in the list, and yeah, that's just such a good looking nickname, I would say. Okay, so now just a bit of preparation. First of all, let's reward people that took part in this fight. That should be done now. Then the second step, and that's new for today, is that we're gonna be changing profiles. I don't care. Where is it? It's there, obviously, because that's a big, very big account with tons of stuffs. There we go. By the way, my player account is not on this device, so nothing that you could find and try to fight me with my personal account. It's not in there. Sorry, guys. So yeah, we're gonna go with the medium army, but for now I need to put the new category in. So this is on a different account. We need to go to that account, which is done. We need to set up the amount of gems, and that's correct. And I need to copy paste the list of players. So just a second. These are my regular players. Ooh, it's 70 players in total. Let me add you there, guys. All the players are added. Now we can shuffle a few times. There we go. Let me copy the list so that you guys know where you are. Okay, I kid you not, it's not on purpose, but some of the people that helped us design this army are going to be very last. So that's kind of a small funny thing. So just a second. That's the part that is always a tiny bit less interesting for you, obviously, guys. But yeah, we just need to go through with this. One day I should show you what's going on my screen while I do this, because it's you know, it's one of those things when Hollywood wants to portray a hacker in a 90s movie. You know, they would show you opening tons of tabs and doing tons of fast stuff that are actually super basic copy pasting, but you know, for the industry back then, that was the craziest stuff. So normal list is pasted on YouTube. Yes, I can now save. Let me save here. Let me go live. And we should be able to start in just a second. That's the army I wanted. Yes. Okay, so we'll be able to start. There we go. So as I said, this army is a rather simple one. I know it's gonna get defeated by a lot of people. The way I decided whether it should go in the easy mode or in the medium one is simply because I still try to look at this to encourage all the people that have the league level or that are already in rank 16 in general to join the hardcore levels. Maybe it's a bit too optimistic for me because I'm planning ahead with the future armies that the future players that will join, but that's how I see it for now. So maybe this army will be too easy and will be crashed, but yeah, that's pretty much what I went with. Thanks to the help of Dosgan, we will in any case reward the players generously, because this one I pretty much had two designs for the easy army. I didn't know which one to pick for the medium one, so I just bumped it. Maybe I didn't bump it enough, so if that's the case, then that's on me and not on the player side. So just checking that everything is working as intended there. Yes. Cool. So, guys, do you have any other questions? We're now entering the second hour of the stream. It's your time to ask me stuffs. The only flaw you see here are the artifacts that seem too low. Yes, that's actually one of the good points, because it was brought up to my knowledge as well that you should put the artifacts to a higher level. But the thing to me is that, as I was saying, I look at this as something that you would fight when you're entering the rank 16 or the leagues. So maybe I could make them a bit stronger, but from my perspective, I would not expect, for example, players with artifacts level 5 to be fighting in this mode. So I know that you guys are doing it, but you will see as we get along, you will move more to the hardcore mode, because that's where you guys belong, a lot of you, and that's perfectly fine. I think that a lot of you that are registering to the medium side will see it with today's stream, for example, that you could have potentially beaten the hardcore one and get more rewards. So that's what I try to be looking at here. So pretty sure I signed up for hardcore, but I'm apparently fighting easy mode. If that's the case, Grika, please contact me in Discord, just so that I have I can check with you your player tag. It's not going to be changing much, but it's just so that I check what might have caused it. Because, as I said, it's been a few players that were in this situation today, and I don't really know what has caused that exactly. So yeah, definitely something to look into. Greenfoot, you're asking if we have news about an anti-ad purchase. Not yet. What I imagine, what I know will probably come is something linked to season pass. So pretty much kind of like you have a season pass and different layers of season pass, one of them being a season pass that includes the anti-ad option. And that would be a tiny bit more expensive, but would also grant more rewards, etc. When that would come, I do not know yet. That's one of those things that we want to be looking at. I don't know yet if that would take this exact shape and when it would come. For now, it's not something that should be coming anytime soon based on what I've seen. It's rank 1's rare to probably for a challenge. Also, Devour rank 0 does nothing because it's too hard to get the kills. Yeah, I agree. That's still something I need to get better at evaluating in this. Indeed. Aniviper, you're asking if we have news for the journey levels. Yes, journey levels ideally coming this month. If not, probably next one, but it should be. We are still hopeful that it will be this month, and there will be 10 new journey levels, and then we would look at adding 10 new journey levels with every era. So that's what we would be ideally looking at. I cannot say it's necessarily going to be this rhythm, because we never know what might happen there, but that's what we would be looking at. I got to rank 15 with T0 common and rare. So reaching rank 16 with T1 common and rare is most likely for new players. Yes, but that's what I meant, that for me, the medium difficulty should be for people that just reached the rank 16 or are still not there yet. Because to me, the super easy mode should be for players that are, I will give numbers that are a bit too vague, but the ideal I foresee is that the beginner mode is for players that are up to probably rank 12 or something like this. So they just played for up to a few weeks and not too hardcore into it, more casually. The medium levels, the medium difficulty, I see it for being up to people entering rank 16. And then the hardcore level, I see it for rank 16 and above. The problem is that at the moment, the very vast majority of the community is really into rank 16 and above, and is actually most of the time into leagues and above. So that's also why it doesn't align perfectly, and that's something I still need to work on to get closer to what you guys are used to for now. Aniviper, you were also asking about the clan wars. For now, I don't have brand new elements I can share about clan wars. We're still looking at a few different options, few different scenarios. We don't have anything set in stone yet, so I cannot really share too much for now. Greenfoot for pass ranks, that sounds good, but please don't extend the pass. Not sure if it is the plan for free-to-play. The stones at the end of the pass are key and casual players can get them. I'm not sure what you mean by extending the pass. The regular pass, I don't think we're going to make it... The path, we're not going to make it harder. What I could foresee potentially is, as mentioned by a few players in the past, to have like an extra step once you reach the end of the path, so that you can actually keep fighting and grinding and get some rewards for going above that. Maybe with a ranking system or something like this, but not something there that would work with adding way more difficulty for people. Well, let's look at it this way, that if we were to add more steps to the path, that would mean, because we're getting more rewards along the way. So that would mean a player that used to put a certain effort into the game will still get about the same amount of power stones, etc., than they would with the previous system. The only difference would be that now there's extra steps that they can go for if they have the opportunity to, but if they don't go for it, they're not missing on something they got before. They would only be missing out on extra stuff they could get, which is already the case anyway. So I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but yeah. Users still waiting for artisans. Yes, I know, but so that means you are the one that made a crazy long request. Actually, now that you're mentioning it, I was mentioning that earlier. I didn't want to say it was you because I wasn't sure. But yeah, in your request, there's a lot of stuff. So it's not just I want 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 assets. It's actually a lot. So I just need to find an artist that has the time for that. I know they will do it. It's just that there's been a lot of crunch time lately to deliver with the new wardrobes, with the new units, with the new skins we released, etc. So yeah, they were obviously focusing on that first, obviously, rather than just sharing with me a big pile of files, pretty much. But it will come. Greenfoot, I just know I've really struggled for stones on my alternate account, so completing the pass is a key grind for more stones. Yeah, I mean, again, I get it, but I mean, if the path was longer and you would get more rewards past the point where it currently ends, you would still get everything you're getting right now for reaching that point. It's just that we would be offering to those that are able to go further the opportunity to get a bit more. So that's why I'm not really sure why you would be losing in this scenario, pretty much. But maybe I'm not making myself clear. Maybe if what I'm saying makes no sense to you, just feel free to let me know, because I might be wrong there. But yeah, that's what I meant mostly. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, my army is getting completely crashed. So sorry, Dostkan, about that. It's my bad for not putting the the artifact strong enough, and also for people that should definitely be fighting for the hardcore mode to be in this mode, will be better next time for this. Yeah. Aniviper, you know, it's been brought up before, but perhaps include an additional rank, level, or buffer between players that just reached 3,750 and players that have level 4-5 artifacts. Yes, that's something we would need to look into. As I said, I mean, for the stream, that's something I need to fine tune and get better at getting this sorted. But also in the game, that's, to me, one of the biggest problem we have is, you know, when players reach the rank 16 and then when they reach the league, I mean, we're talking about that on Discord literally every few days. When you reach the leagues, you're ending up being crashed and you don't really have much ways to work your way from there. So that's something we definitely need to rework as well. That is something we're looking at the moment. Dosgan, you're saying you're trying to make the changes in the difficulty, so I guess I'll pick medium next time. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to tell you to do this because maybe next time the army in the medium slot will be harder. I mean, it will necessarily be a bit harder because there's no way I would endure 2 streams in a week with a 0% winning rate. You know, I'm that close to pause and just upgrade the artifacts, but that wouldn't be fair for the players that came afterwards. Sarah, you were always curious about what's the daily limit of gold, 100 wins, or something else. I don't really know what's the amount exactly. I would need to check what's the exact limit. I don't have the number out of the blue like this. But yeah, something we need to look into. How about rebalancing skirmish? So the skirmish event at the moment, I'm not necessarily sure we are going to rebalance it. What might be happening is that because we want more of those events in the town of the game, it is quite likely that there will be 2-3 other events rotating with the bounty hunter, with all of that. And it might be that the skirmish is just not something you see all the time anymore. And we might take it out for a while. At this point, we can rework it and bring it back. But maybe it won't be just a rebalancing. Maybe it will be reworked rather differently. Overall, the main problem with the skirmish is how it is balanced. And that's something that is causing a lot of issues for newcomers, like players pretty much up until rank 13, 14. It can be super tough for players to be able to defeat the skirmish. But then when you pass level 16, and especially once you get a bit high in the leagues, it turns to be into a situation where it becomes too easy. By the way, it's balanced as well. So there's also a problem like when you reach rank 16, it's super tough. But once you've been there for a while, especially if you reach the leagues and start to be better in the leagues, then it doesn't scale up as much as it should anymore. So there are quite a few different issues that will need to be addressed indeed. Sorry. Okay. How long will the 500 gem wardrobe be staying? As far as I understand, it should be running for the pretty much the same duration as the Eternite ones, which we are rotating. So with a new era, we rotate the wardrobes, and I'm quite sure it's going to be the same for this one. But I will recheck that with the team. Given that it's a brand new system, we're still evaluating at the moment the outcome. It is likely that the next one will be a bit different. You know, maybe it won't be 500 gems, but a bit more, a bit less. I don't know. Maybe it will include more skins, less skins. I do not know exactly how it will work, but we're still looking into that. So for now, it's also why there might not be an exact rhythm put into it, because we first need to find the system that is the best suited. And once we have something that is satisfying all of the conditions that we want, we'll be able to give you an exact duration for each of them when they are added to the game. But they should be rotating. As far as I'm aware, there's no plan for having periods with no gems wardrobes, for example. At least that's the way I understand it for now. It could change, but that's the way it looks so far. Okay, so obviously the good thing with completely screwing up the artifacts for this mode is that obviously we're getting super fast through through it. But yeah, ideally, I hope that it won't be too bad. We're almost done with half of this mode. I'm sorry about that. We'll be able to make it work. So the gold limit should be the gold card max multiplied by 6.25. Maybe, if you say so. I really cannot say. I don't have that information with me, and at this time it will be hard for me to find the answer live, so I can't really do it. But yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna relay that as well, because someone just mentioned that to me on Discord. But apparently, someone who shared with me their player tag to check if they were going to be in the hardcore session because they couldn't see their name. When I looked for it, I found them, told them at which rank they were, and they told me that it wasn't them in the fight when they watched it. I might be wrong, but if that's ever happening to you, for something like this to happen, so like really it's not you that is fighting, it means more than likely what happens is that you misspelled your player tag, either when you asked me when you would fight or when you registered. That can happen. So always with your registration, be very careful to make sure that everything is properly happening there. I mean, of course, it could be just that I got it wrong when I copy-pasted it, but yeah, just because I've seen some of those cases as well in the past, make sure you're typing your player tag right, because otherwise, obviously, it's someone else that is getting the rewards for you. Will the quiz take part? Yes, there will be a quiz today during the easy part of the stream. Since the easy part of the stream is super short, you will have to be fast, but it shouldn't be too complicated. And yeah, we'll see how you guys do. I already prepared the questionnaire, so I'm ready to pretty much post it in the Google chat as soon as we get to that final army. So as soon as we get to that final army, you can rush and answer to that that questionnaire. I don't know where I was looking for my words there, but yeah. So you should be able to get that going on, and I hope that you will like this small questionnaire. It's something very basic, but yeah, it's a cool way to start getting back into this mode, since I didn't run yet the quizzes since we started. I'm always going to be a bit careful not to have too many of those running, because I don't necessarily always see the value of, you know, having too many quizzes running in there. But yeah, having 1 or 2 or 3, it's definitely something we can look into. Mostly I want to do it when there's something interesting that justifies it, and I think we have something quite interesting this time around. And we'll see who will be able to get it. It is possible, as I will watch the answers go live, it is possible that I might end up giving you some hints. We'll see. Okay, so folks, is there anything else you want to know? Any other question you may have? Anything else, really, as we're already getting, we already have less than 30 accounts to go in this category. So we are going quite fast today. Obviously, that's what happened when you have a 0% winning rate. I guess we can screenshot that, because that should be a once in a lifetime thing. But so you're asking how the balance changes for boots and spare performing from a development perspective. So from a development perspective, they don't care. Let's be real. So the developers, they don't care what is the balancing of the game. That's not their business. From the game design and game balancing perspective, it's probably a bit too early to say. But yeah, it's gonna take a bit of time for us to evaluate it. As far as I can say, we've been conservative enough with the change that it shouldn't be too big of a negative impact, if any. And of course, if it's a positive impact, which is what we believe will happen, then there's nothing to worry about. So yeah, I don't know yet what is the outcome, but I don't expect it to be bad there at all. You missed your answer to the question about the 500 gems wardrobe and how long will it last. So yeah, as I said, for that, it's gonna be most likely until the end of the era. That's how I understood it. I do not know yet for sure. I will check that with the team and try to let you know. But most likely it should be rotating in a similar fashion to the other wardrobes. But yeah, I cannot tell you for sure yet. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes on that end. Mostly, as I was saying as well, because we're still trying to figure out exactly how this this wardrobe should be edited. Is it properly priced? Should we put more skins? Should we change the probabilities of getting X or Y, etc.? Those things will still potentially change a little. Oh yeah, no, sorry. Yes, it was labeled as anniversary wardrobe. What I meant by rotation is not that it is not temporary. It is a temporary wardrobe. It's not going to come back just as it is, probably ever, maybe next year with the anniversary, but that would be anyway new skins, etc. What I meant by rotation is that there should be a rotation of gem wardrobes. So there would be, once one of them is leaving, another one should be coming. That's what I meant. And that the duration in which they should be available should be following a rather similar pattern to the regular one. Maybe not exactly, maybe it will be a bit shorter. It's also something we'll see as we go, because potentially if we see that you only get people to buy this within the first 2 seasons of it being released, and then numbers are going down drastically, of course it will make sense for us to have it run for 2 seasons and have another one for the 2 next season of an era. But maybe we'll see the other way around, and we'll see that it keeps performing really well for a longer time, and it makes more sense to keep it longer. So that's something we'll need more data to really decide how we should go. One thing you'd like, if it only offered skins you had and gotten. Yeah, the thing is, for this to happen, it would need a bit of development, because that would be a new type of events. It would not be the same, because right now it's the type of events that we trigger when you have a wardrobe is something that goes in the shop for everyone. It's the same for everyone, and that's it. To make it personalized and analyzing what you're missing and only giving you this, that would mean to develop a brand new type of wardrobe from scratch. And I do not know what would be the technical limitations there, but I'm quite sure it wouldn't be that easy for us to do. So that's the main problem I could see there. Also, it's important to note that if it only adds stuffs you don't have, we would probably need to price it a bit higher, because the issue there is that it would become way too beneficial to just wait for this to come, spend a bit on it, get the skins you wanted, and be done with it. And it would be a lot more beneficial than the ways you're getting skin in other aspects of the game. So I would expect, if we were to do something like this, like, hey, you will only get stuffs you don't already have, and so that means no duplicates, etc. At least at first openings, I would expect it to be priced a tiny bit higher, because it will also be more valuable to players, as you just demonstrated. Please put some old units at the new wardrobe. I got almost all skins for normal ones, but missing so many others. I mean, technically, we can put whatever we want on the wardrobe. So I guess you're missing some old skins, right? For old units. We could put some of those old school skins for old units in the wardrobe. I think that's what we did as well with the special offers that we ran around the anniversary time. We had something like this with old skins in there. But yeah, we could definitely have another wardrobe going that way. In general, we'll try to grant access to all the skins, period. So you should be able, it will cycle, but you should be able in your playing lifetime to get access to every single skin. So yeah. In the default sorting, Wormhole and Fire Archer are at the bottom. Is this intentional? If I remember correctly, we fixed that on Monday. Let me check. Or was this for the 2 others? Because I know we had exactly this in the patch notes. Yeah, they shouldn't be displayed wrongly in the unit list anymore. So if it is, then that means the bug fix did not work, and that's something we need to sort. Oh, it was fixed but came back in the end. Okay, then that's definitely something I need to report to the team. Okay. legacy content is really nice, and why not getting in? I mean, yes, that's as I said, that's why we were doing it. I think it's for the anniversary that we add something like this. But yeah, we can definitely bring legacy skins back. If you have some wishes as well, just let us know. In general, we don't have any problem with that. And I believe we would also try to have more and more and more units going forwards, pretty much. More and more skins, sorry, going forwards that would be released, including obviously all the old ones. I'm not saying we would be more new skins. I mean, we want to give you guys accesses to more skins. That's what I meant. Okay, I see that I'm finally winning some matches, so I believe we might be fully done. No, not yet. Okay, we have a few more accounts to go. I was feeling that maybe I was done with the list, and that's why I started to win. But no, we actually won a few matches. That's good for my ego. I won't feel as bad tonight, but it's still not a great number, but it gets a bit better. On one hand, I like having some portraits to just myself, but on the other hand, more diversity is good. Yeah, I mean, we need to... we kind of... Obviously, we enjoy the fact that players can get access to as much stuff as they can. We understand that there are some stuff that are very specific. So, for example, the party animal title that you got for the anniversary is not something we are gonna give out around Christmas or whatever. It's either we do a party animal 2 next year or we call it differently, but that's something that is linked to you being there at that very moment. And we know that for some skins there can be stuffs like that, or for some portraits, etc. At the same time, we don't want new players or players that just came in a bit after the official release to feel like they missed out so much. So it's okay if there's 1 or 2 super extra crazy skins that will always remain something that was there for the pioneers, but it should be a restricted number of stuffs. So yeah, legacy items, really, I don't see why not. Yeah, we can always upgrade it, like, you know, #1 title, etc. Yeah, definitely. It's not that complicated to upgrade it, so we could definitely do that. Okay, so we're getting to the end of this section already. We have 3 players left, and my winning percentage is still positive, and it's not that bad, you know. So will it go down still during the 3 last battles? Yes, it will. We know that. We all know that. But it won't be as bad, nearly as bad as what I initially thought. So at least there's that, right? Okay. Destiny, we still have 1 player after that, and it's actually Hussars who will close the medium difficulty level. I'm still remaining at around 22%. I will probably go down to 20 with this battle, but that's okay. It started way worse than that. So. In your opinion, portraits and titles should be a potential legacy cosmetic plus some stuffs that's seasonal. Yeah, I mean, that's what I meant, you know. If there's a few of those things, that's okay. It's mostly we don't want a lot of people to feel like they're missing out. That's the one bit that we should try to bring to people. And yeah, the battlefields, the units. Plus there are some interesting ways we could do that anyway. So definitely something interesting there. Okay, so we are done with the medium fight. So I will just close the event, start the next one. You know the drill. Just a second. Okay, so I can close the event. Yes, you guys get rewards. That's good. Now we set the new list, and so it's 50, 100, and 200 gems. Let's do that. Okay, list of players. Shouldn't be too many. We have like 12 players for this round. We will change the army. I think it should be the top one. Yes, there we go. So this one is a super easy army because to me, that's what this is meant for. I know that some players are still picking the easy fights when they should be going other ways. But technically, if they want to win less gems, you know, it's their decision. They could get more gems. They decided not to. I'm not going to be telling them what to do. So just a second. Let me shuffle the participants a little. There we go. I will post the list right away. Anyway, we have time today. Can you believe that? We have time. Okay. Classic issue when I do that. Come on. Why is it not working as it should? There we go. Let's go there. Now it's working. Yay. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. We're getting there. And we will also have, as I already told you, we will have today a quiz. So can you guys guess what the quiz is about today? I'm not sure it would be possible for you to guess, but I mean, if any of you would guess what the quiz will be about, I would grant you, I don't know, an extra 100 gem if you were to find right away, like this, just out of nowhere, out of the blue. Oh, you guys wrote so much stuff. Okay, so I'm saving this. The list of players is now available on YouTube, and in just about a second I will post the link, the one you all wanted, in the chat. As soon as it's there, we launch the fight, and you won't have much time to be able to answer. So please go ahead. Here goes the quiz. So the question is basically, what is this? Oh, of course, I forgot to start the live event because that wouldn't be fun otherwise. So this is not the fight, but that's okay. In the meantime, since I need to wait for the battle to end, I can still tell you that the question is, what is this army of mine based on? It's a direct reference to something. And if you guys are able to guess what it is, you're getting 50 gems. If you're able to find out some of the Easter eggs that are on this army, you're getting additional gems. I'm not going to give you 50 gems per Easter egg because that would quickly become crazy for those that will find. But for finding what is there, you will still get a fair amount of gems added. So this time we are supposedly going to have the event properly started. Yes, there we go. So guys, I want to know, you won't have much time, what it is based on. My army, the army that was created by Hussars, what is it based on? Look at the units that are there. Do they remind you of something? I can tell you because we don't have much time, so it has to go very fast. So it is based on a pop culture phenomenon. And I must say, something that is considered by many as one of the biggest and best video game of the last 15 years. So yeah, I can tell you that it was also adapted as a show in the past few years. And this show got very, very, very mixed reviews and feedback initially. That's what I could say. What else can I say? Because it's going to be very fast. There are, I can say that it's originally a series of books. And I can see that a few of you already found the answers. So yeah, that's very, very, very interesting. So yeah, I see more and more of you getting the correct answers. There are some of your answers that are quite interesting and quite funny. No, it is not one of the next journey levels or anything like this. It is based on a cultural phenomenon. In an indirect way, it has a link to Superman. What else can I say? I could say that the showrunners of that show admitted that the entire first season could have been a lot better if they did another opening theme for their show, but they couldn't because it would have been too close to the one from Game of Thrones. I mean, if you don't get it from there, I'm not going to be able to help you out much more than that. But I see that a fair amount of you found it already. So yeah, Uzaz says that there's at least 11 Easter eggs. Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy one. Since we're on that, I can actually tell you how I feel about this show, and that will be the closing segment, because I think we're going to be very quickly about this. Around there. So, few stories about this show for me is that I am not the biggest fan of the video game that it's based on because I didn't play it. And the only reasons why I didn't play that game is because back when it came out, one of my colleagues worked for that game, or rather left the company we were in and started working for that game. And for an entire year, every single day he would post on all the social medias about how his job was amazing because he was working on the best video game ever, etc. And that pissed off all of his ex-colleagues. There's a bit of jealousy in there, but also just this moment where you felt like this guy that came very late in that project, the only thing he was doing and talking about all day was this game that really spoiled it for me. And then, the show, I watched the first season. I really didn't like some aspects of it. Now that we're getting there, I can say, actually, we finished. Yeah, we just finished. Awesome. So I will close now the entries. We have a few players that were able to get it. That's super cool. So obviously this was based on the Witcher saga. And yeah, for the show, the thing is, for me, I didn't like at all the way they worked with the timelines, because I don't care about mixed timelines, etc. I think it's quite interesting, except that I felt like it was forced. Like it didn't bring anything to the show. When I spotted it a tad earlier than when they make the big reveal, because it started to be a bit obvious, it didn't feel to me like, oh my god, it's been like this all along. It felt like, oh, okay. And to me, the fact that they based the entire season on that, and that there was no wow effect when you realized it was just like, oh, okay, that kind of killed it a bit for me. So yeah, I didn't watch the rest. Maybe the rest is amazing. I know that the books are supposedly fairly good, but yeah, that's basically my entire relationship with The Witcher so far, and mostly because of that ex-colleague, Philip, if you're watching us. Yeah, he spoiled it for us, for me and all of my colleagues, by talking way too much about it. Yes, I just closed the form before revealing that it was The Witcher, obviously. Okay, folks, so there's one last thing that I need to do, and it's to close the event so that the people that participated in the easy fight gets their reward, which is now done. I can tell about the Easter eggs. There's so many. I will just be basically sharing the details in Discord, or you can actually share them yourself if you want as well, because the thing is, as you've noticed from what I just mentioned, I know about the very basics of The Witcher, but that's about it. So I can't really bring anything more to it than you would, and that's your creation. So I will leave you the honors of sharing all the Easter eggs. You can share them in the chat already before we conclude with the stream, but feel free to share it as well on Discord. No, I'm not gonna toss a coin to my Witcher because I really don't want to have this song stuck in my head again. It took me a few years to get it out of here, so I'm not happy with you, Aniviper, right now. You shouldn't do that to people. That's mean. I will have it stuck in my head for a week now, at least. Okay, folks, so that basically concludes it for this week's stream. We will come back in 2 weeks. I will give a thought to everything that was mentioned into having potentially an hybrid stream with 100 people being directly broadcasted, streamed live, so that we can have this discussion going on, etc., and the others being part of a sped up video so that we can have a few more players coming in, etc. That's something we'll have to look into. And yeah, I will also forward the feedback that the bug fix for the placement of the wormhole and Fire Ranger is not working anymore. And yeah, I hope that you had a pleasant stream. It's been slightly short of 2 hours, probably a all-time record on this channel. I see that you are already starting to spoil in the chat, so probably it will be time to conclude. But I want to have Uzar's sharing everything. Oh no, sorry, you are not spoiling. You are just mentioning that she was missing from the actual units. I don't think she is. I think she was in the last in some of the last Easter eggs. You can still paste the last ones if you want hussars, otherwise I can do it because I have them there as well, and then we'll be able to go pretty much. I'm just checking where did you stop, and so that I can pass the last ones. You stopped at number 8. Let me share just the last ones so that everyone has this. Okay. Again, thank you all folks for joining the stream today. I'm sharing the last details from the amazing work that hussars did there, and we will be able to go. Okay, I have the limitation for the live. Sorry about that. Just a second. That's why you were taking so much time. I get it now. It's annoying, this limitation. Okay, so you're there with me for just a few more minutes because I believe that we should honor the work that was done by hussars. So let me just do that properly, and then we'll be able to go. You should all already have your rewards given out. And as always, if, as I mentioned earlier, sorry, if you see that you are not fighting in the good category, please let me know so that we try to look at what might have caused this, and hopefully we can get this sorted for the future streams, because obviously that's not nice to not be able to fight in the category you wanted to. Also, if you are one of the people that fight in the easy mode or even in the medium mode with tier 5 artifacts, folks, you can go to the hardcore mode. You're designed for it, you're equipped for it, you have all you need to go in the hardcore mode. Believe in yourself and go for it. Okay, that's the last one I need to share, and we'll be able to go. Okay, now we shared all the Easter eggs that hussars had there. Thank you again, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.